Okay, I'd like to bring the Audit Committee meeting to order, please. I got to find my agenda here. We'll be all set. Okay, there it is. Here it is. No, it's not. I got it. Okay, the first order of business is the acceptance of the minutes. Second? I forgot to ask, any public comments? I don't think so. Okay, now before we start the meeting today, I would like to commend Kevin McKenna for a job well done here for a lot of years. I had the pleasure of serving on those pension committees for 2 or 3 years, and Kevin was really the backbone of that committee and really kept it working. And as I looked at the results of these reports for 10, it really showed some real good advantages over the last couple of years that brought us back, which I would say brought us back into safety mode. So Kevin, we thank you, and enjoy retirement. Okay, the Audit Committee work plan. I don't think there's no change in that Audit Committee work plan. Yeah, as you know, we're going to meet 5 times this year instead of 6. Okay, the next one is the Independent Accounts Review Report for 3rd quarter. David.
You know, we've completed our review procedures for the review of the financial statements for the authority for the 3rd quarter, and in September. And those procedures were, as we've disclosed to you in the past, previously are substantially less in scope than an audit, which consists mainly of having conversations with management concerning the changes in the financial statements, concerning changes in accounting policies, or new issues that have occurred in the year, or changes and deviations from, any financial matters or financial plans that the authority has. We also perform a number of analytical procedures, which is comparing trends that we know about the authority with trends that exist within the industry, and we look for deviations from those trends to determine or to see if there might be anything that would be of consequence. As a result of those procedures, we are going to issue our report dated today, assuming you approve the issue of the financial statements. And as a result of those procedures, we have nothing that we need to report to you.
Any questions? Get a motion to accept it as submitted. Second. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
Okay, the next thing on the agenda is the 2010 pension audits.
Okay, good afternoon. I'm Mike Malloy. I work with David. I'm director with Deloitte. And I oversaw the work that we did related to the pension plans. Those were the Metropolitan Transportation Authority Defined Benefit Pension Plan, the Long Island Railroad Company Plan for Additional Pensions, the Metro-North Commuter Railroad Company Cash Balance Plan, and the Manhattan and Bronx Surface Transit Operating Authority Pension Plan. So I'll just refer to all my remarks collectively as the plans as I go through these comments. So we've completed our audits with regard to the plans. Couple things just to remind you of. In our engagement letter of May 13, 2010, we detailed out our responsibility as auditors for those audits. And we conducted our audits in accordance with GAAS, generally accepted auditing standards in the United States of America, in order to determine if the financial statements presented are in conformity with GAAP, which is accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. In connection with forming an opinion on a set of financial statements, We have to determine if they are fairly presented and if there are any particular errors that relate to the financial statements. And I'll speak about that in a minute. One other thing to point out is that in connection with preparing the financial statements, ultimately the financial statements are the responsibility of management. And we are just conducting our audits of management's preparation. In connection with our audit, we evaluate internal controls for purposes of planning and determine the extent of our audit testing and procedures. We did not conduct an audit from the standpoint of issuing a separate opinion on internal controls. That's something you would see in a public company situation where they need to follow the PCAOB standards. But we did consider the internal control structure with regard to how we should design these tests and the extent of those tests. With every set of financial statements, there are usually significant accounting estimates which are made by management, judgments, and so forth. The financial statements for the plans did contain estimates. The more significant of those estimates were the determination of the fair value of the investments, the annual required contribution, the actuarial value of the assets, the actuarial accrued liability, and that was it. Those are the more significant ones. We're not aware of any changes that were made in those estimates from previous periods. Okay. With regard to uncorrected misstatements, there were none that we need to report to you. Material corrected misstatements, we're not aware of any of those. The significant accounting policies are disclosed in each of the set of the financial statements in footnote 2 to the financials. And with regard to disagreements with management, we had no disagreements with management. And then with regard to any other communications we had with management, I would consider those as routine type conversations you'd have in the normal course of any audit that we would conduct. Attached to our letter, which covers our communication points that we're required to communicate to the audit committee, are the representation letters for each of the plans, I should say. You'll see that it's dated today's date, these letters, assuming that the audit committee approves these. We're prepared to issue the opinions on the financial statements today or in short order. So that's all from my prepared remarks. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
I did review the management discussion and analysis on most of them, and I thought it was a good sign when I found that the rate of return had exceeded the actuarial, and that doesn't happen very often, but it happened in all four of these cases, and that made me feel pretty confident that we were on the right track. Any other questions? Motion to accept? Second? All in favor? Carried. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mike, you're up.
Good. Thank you. Today I will discuss the 2011 year-end audit results and the proposed 2012 audit plan. We provided the committee, the chairman, agency management with the reports that summarize this information. As shown in this slide, this is the audit coverage provided to the MTA in 2011 and was consistent with our plan. The challenge for us is to provide audit coverage at the 6 agencies and MTA headquarters based on the risk assessment of their activities and responsibilities and to have the proper balance. At each agency, we break down all activities into 7 business categories, and this chart illustrates how the time was spent. Procurement is included audits of the capital-funded contracts such as the 2nd Avenue Subway, the bus and subway car procurements, and Fulton Street Center project. This slide is a snapshot of our results in 2011. I'm extremely proud of our accomplishments. I'd like to thank my direct reports here today, as well as the entire audit staff. We made over 600 recommendations for improvement, with a total dollar value impact to the MTA of $82 million. Our savings on the operating side resulted from such areas as revenue enhancements, audits of vendor invoices, expense reductions in healthcare operations, paratransit, and overtime. We follow up with the agencies to ensure these savings are achieved. On the contract side, our work is proactive, meaning we review cost proposals before they are presented to the MTA Board to ensure the lowest prices are achieved. While the identification of cost savings is extremely important to us, we give the evaluation of internal controls and risk assessment more importance. Accordingly, such work included audits at the BSC on accounts payable and payroll, reviewing controls over CPM administrative costs, ensuring revenue collections are maximized, and that technology is being utilized effectively. At this point, I'd like to review with the committee our 2012 audit plan. We begin our planning process in September, and it takes several months to complete, resulting in a comprehensive risk assessment, which is fully documented. The foundation of the audit plan was developed through a formal risk assessment that is performed in accordance with the Institute of Internal Auditors standards. These are risk assessment sources from which we build our audit plan. All are equally important, and we obtain very critical information from each of them. One of our objectives is to identify risk. With that being said, given the MTA fiscal condition, we make judgments about the cost and benefits of controlling risk as well. The main objective of our risk assessment was to assure ourselves that the risks to the MTA in achieving its business objectives were fully defined and understood, that our universe of auditable entities addressed those risks, and that no gaps in audit coverage existed. We solicited input from management personnel agency-wide and obtained their views on risk and key strategies that they are responsible for. As in past years, we also met with our independent accountants, Deloitte, and the Chief Compliance Officer. The results of our risk assessment identified 352 audit activities at the MTA and its agencies. An auditable unit is a candidate for potential audit, which is ranked into high, moderate, and low categories. It is our goal that the auditable units are covered based on a 5-year cycle. The results of our risk assessment, when applied to our resources this year, identified 153 audits that we will conduct. In 2012, we will continue to work to identify cost reduction and cost saving opportunities. This will include reviewing operational areas and the capital program to ensure controls are effective and efficient. This is a preview on how we plan to spend our time in the business functions in 2012. These percentages have been reviewed with each agency president. This is a preview of how we plan to spend our time at the agencies in 2012, and these percentages as well have been reviewed with each agency president. Yes.
Go back one slide, please.
Sure.
That is not what we have in a book, you know.
Okay. Can I see your
At
book?
all.
It was updated based on the latest meetings with the presidents.
Oh, okay.
It's a slightly different.
Maybe the timing of it, but it should be pretty close.
It's definitely different. Transit is less. Now Metro North is higher than, well, that was higher than Long Island Railroad, but it's only higher by 1 point now.
Right. I'll send you an updated one, Andrew. On each category, you will see a snapshot of the types of activities in our audit plan. All of our audits will emphasize risk identification, the internal control environment, and cost savings. Key audits include work that we have commenced at the Business Service Center in the payroll, accounts payable, and procurement areas to ensure the accuracy and integrity of these activities being processed there. At the agencies, we will be involved with capital reimbursable positions, maintenance activities, employee resources and deployment, as well as key initiatives such as the Smart Card program, electronic tolling, and operating costs. A challenge for us is to keep our activities balanced within the agencies and amongst the projects we select. The balance should also be between compliance and business improvement. We believe that we have and will continue to maintain a balanced perspective. Finally, we will continue to coordinate activities throughout the year with the independent public accounting firm, the City State Control Offices, the Chief Compliance Officer, and also we will initiate a quality assurance review of our department in the fourth quarter of 2012 as required by our own internal auditing standards. So with that, should you have any questions, I'd be glad to take them, but I ask your approval of the 2012 audit plan.
Any questions, comments?
In dollars or head count? I have 85 auditors with about a $9 million budget.
Has that been pretty steady? You go up and down at all?
No, pretty much consistent. We did participate in a reduction, headcount reduction that occurred 2 years ago where we cut the staff 15%. But with that, we aligned our procedures in order to maintain the number of audits consistent with past years.
one thing I have noticed over the years is that our audit department is being used by a lot of our agencies in determining a lot of policies as they go forward to make sure that the numbers they're getting are, numbers that can be verified. So, so a lot of this is, as an internal auditor, they work with the various agencies to make sure if they have, even when they have a question or a
Sure.
problem, they call
Sure.
them to.
And do consulting work for them as well.
Right. Okay, any other questions? Can I get a motion to accept the 2012 audit plan as submitted? Second? All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, Mike, I think we want to go into executive session.
Yes. Deloitte. We gotta meet with Deloitte. You're going to meet with Deloitte in this.
Okay. Move to go into executive session to discuss a number of pending issues relating to ongoing audits and to meet with our external auditors.
The lights on?